Today let us make coffee walnut cake. I made this cake recently for my birthday. It's a perfect balance of nuttiness, coffee flavor and sweetness.
Hello and welcome to Spoiled by Coco. My name is Apurvi and in this channel I share with you eggless recipes. So let's get baking.
First, for the coffee walnut sponge, let's extract some coffee. I'm using filter coffee. You can use instant coffee also. 3 gram of it in 50 ml of hot water. Now in a bowl take 62 ml milk and add 6 ml of vinegar and keep aside our homemade buttermilk. Now in another bowl add all the dry ingredients starting with 115 grams all-purpose flour, 10 grams corn flour, 35 gram walnut powder, half teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon baking soda and keep it aside. Now in a bowl take 60 gram of yogurt. Add 75 gram castor sugar. Using a hand whisk, mix till all the sugar is dissolved. Add half teaspoon vanilla extract and mix. Add 66 gram flavorless oil and mix. Finally add 50 ml of espresso we brewed and mix. Now add all the dry ingredients in two parts. Add the first part and fold it in using a spatula. Add the first half of our prepared buttermilk and mix it in. Now add the second half of the dry ingredients and fold it in, followed by the rest of the buttermilk, and mix only until no flour is visible. Here I am using a 4-inch 4 molds. I have lined them with aluminium foil and greased with oil. You can also use a 5-inch pan. Now I am going to equally divide the batter in each, smooth out the top and tap on the counter a couple of times to remove air bubbles, and bake this in a preheated oven at 170 Celsius for 12 to 14 minutes or until a skewer comes out completely dry. Baking time differs from oven to oven, so bake accordingly. Once baked, let them cool down to room temperature. Then remove from the mold and cool them completely on a wire rack. Look how soft our sponge have baked even when they are made without eggs. Now let us make coffee jelly insert. For that, in a pan take 80 ml of water, add 40 ml espresso or 2 gram instant coffee powder and 20 gram sugar and mix. Now heat the mixture on medium-high flame and bring to a boil such that our sugar is dissolved completely. Then add 1.5 gram of agar-agar powder and mix quickly so that no lumps are formed. Transfer to a 2-inch round mold which I have lined with aluminium foil. You can also set it on a tray, then cut using the round cookie cutter once set. Keep in mind, no air bubble should get trapped while pouring the mixture. If it happens, remove with the help of a toothpick or a knife edge. Then let's set in refrigerator. Meanwhile, let us make walnut crunch. For that, in a pan take 60 grams of sugar, add 10 ml water and keep it over low flame to caramelize the sugar. You can swirl the pan for even melting of sugar, also to prevent crystallization. Once it's caramelized, add 68 grams of walnuts and mix with the help of a wooden or silicone spatula. Coat them well. Then transfer on a baking paper or silicone mat to cool completely. Once set, break into smaller pieces and chop finely till you have smaller bits of our caramelized walnuts. They will add to the texture and give a nice crunch in a bite. Finally, for the last element, take 220 grams of whipping cream in a heat-proof bowl. Add 1 by 4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 by 4 teaspoon vanilla bean powder and mix. You can use either of them instead of both. Microwave it so that it warms before you add to your caramel. Next, in a heavy bottom tall pan, add 100 grams of sugar and caramelize it over low flame. Swirl the pan around to get even melting of sugar and avoid crystallization. Once our sugar is caramelized, take it off heat and add warm vanilla cream in it in 3 to 4 parts. Doing so makes it easier to mix our cream properly as the mixture will bubble and rise up rapidly. So take care to add cream little by little and mixing. Now cook the caramel further for 2 to 4 minutes to help get smooth and consistent texture and also to intensify its flavor. Now take it off heat and add 30 grams of butter. Add a pinch of salt if using unsalted butter and mix to emulsify properly. Transfer to a heat-proof bowl and let cool completely. Then refrigerate for an hour or two. Once a caramel is cold, transfer it to an electric beater. I am using a stand beater and whip the caramel until you get stiff peaks. Our whipped caramel frosting is ready.
Please give our video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. Also, do not forget to turn on the bell icon so that you can get notified each time I share a new recipe.
Now let us stack our cake. For that, I am going to fix my cake board with a little frosting. Then place some more above before placing cake sponge. This will stabilize my cake so that it does not fall off while frosting. Now soak the sponge with sugar syrup to make it extra moist. Place some frosting and smooth it out. Pipe a border with frosting and fill the center with caramelized walnut crunch. The border will help prevent the crunch from sliding off. Then place another sponge layer and soak it with sugar syrup as well. After applying some frosting, I am sprinkling some orange zest on top. This little zest will cut through your earthy flavor of walnut, coffee and caramel and bring a refreshing and citrusy contrast to our cake. This step is though optional. Our jelly have set, let's demold it and place on our cake. Cover it with a thin layer of frosting before placing another sponge layer so that our cake does not slide off. The frosting acts as a glue between jelly and sponge. Repeat the steps of frosting. Walnut crunch before placing final sponge layer upside down to get smooth surface on top for frosting. Crumb coat the cake and place in a refrigerator for half an hour before final frosting. Frost the cake completely. smoothing the top and sides. Wipe some frosting peaks on top on the border of the cake and fill the center with thin layer of walnut crunch. I'll also coat the 1/3 height of the cake with walnut crunch. Finally, place some espresso jelly cubes on top of the cake. A walnut espresso cake with walnut crunch and coffee jelly insert with whipped cream frosting is ready to slice into. This is how it looked from inside. Thank you for watching. Spoiled by Coco.